Hello everybody, welcome. ఈ రోజు అందరూ ఏం చేశారు? How was your Monday? Say something exciting. మీకు ఇప్పుడు అద్భుతంగా నేను ఒక యోగా నేర్పించబోతున్నాను. సూర్య నమస్కారం with an amazing teacher. నేను బాంబేకి వెళ్ళినప్పుడల్లా I go a day early. ఎందుకంటే నేను తన దగ్గర యోగా చేయాలని. I plan my day in Bombay. తను కలిసినప్పటి నుంచి నాకు తనని రకుల్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్డ్ మీ టు హర్ అండ్ అప్పటి నుంచి ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ ఐ గో టు బాంబే ఐ డూ హర్ యోగా అండ్ ఇట్ ఫీల్స్ సో అమేజింగ్ తెలుసా. సో ఇప్పుడు ఇంతమంది వస్తున్నప్పుడు నాకు ఎలాగ ఇన్వైట్ చేయాలో తెలీదు. I have an option of turning off comments when I'm doing the live. Wait a second. Let's see. Anshuka send. No. Ansh, are you there? I don't see you for me to invite you or to click on you. Say something, no, maybe? If you're there. లాలిపాట ఆపిల్ కోసం పాడి ఉంచాడు కదా. చాలాసార్లు కానీ నా కూతురు కోసమే. మై వాయిస్ ప్లీజ్ చెక్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. చెకింగ్. Whoa. I'm right here. I see you. Go live. There you go. Office work.
I'm right here. Hi.
So everybody, this is my amazingly talented, beautiful, compassionate, like amazing yoga teacher. So Anshika meets my amazing parents. You won't believe how many messages I got from my friends today. First of all, being excited that I'm doing this. Second of all, saying, can you do Surya Namaskaram at night? So I said, all your questions can be answered. Anshika is busy during the day. But let's start off with this. Let's start off with how you were introduced to yoga and how you came about it.
So what I want to say first is that yoga is just not about the physical practice. I feel like we all relate yoga to just the physical asanas or how flexible you are. It is a lifestyle. There's so much more. Asana is just one limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. So starting with that, at a very young age, I was introduced to a lot of pranayam and yoga asanas through my mom. And what she called it was exercise, because I know if she called it yoga, I would probably run away from her. So I had asthma, I had acute bronchitis. So I was introduced to it as a physical practice first, with my breathing and my pranayam through my mom, because she is a yoga teacher. She still practices, so that's beautiful. And as I started doing it, I really started to enjoy it, not realizing it's yoga. And then gradually I was extremely athletic, so I started doing different things, movement-based workout. I used to swim a lot. And post that, I became a pilot. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I got a commercial pilot's license. I got a job with the airlines. And right after that, I got into a terrible, near-fatal bike accident. And that's when I feel like I really evolved to understand the beauty of the yoga practice as a lifestyle. Because at that time, I was bedridden for many months. And I was injured and I couldn't walk. I was using crutches even to go from one room to the other, and it was, I feel like the biggest testing time of my life. And what I realized is that the physical trauma was very easy to heal because I did get better. But you know what, that emotional trauma, that it had just sort of, all that alignment that I thought I believed I had was just not there anymore. And I realized that I was not a very happy person. I wasn't happy with myself, and self-love being so important. And when I wasn't happy with myself, of course, I wasn't happy with my surrounding, my environment, my family, my friends, and everything follows. So I did go into yoga teachers training. and that I really believe changed my life.
Where did you do this?
The first yoga training, teacher's training I did was at the Yoga Institute. It's one of the oldest institutes we have, especially in the country and the world. And it's right here in Mumbai. So that was very easy to do because I started doing just the 1 month course. And then towards the end of the month, I realized that I want to do this even more. And then I extended it to like 3 months, and then I landed up doing it for the entire year. So what I liked is that there were so many different schools of yoga that I learned within that year. I kept going back to the Yoga Institute because I felt like that was where I started from, and there was so much that I was learning from there. And then that's when I fell in love with the beauty of yoga just more than the mat. So it was beyond the mat that I fell in love with the lifestyle. I turned my food around. I was following the Sattvic diet for a very long time. So there were so many changes that I made, and I really believe that if that hadn't come to me at that point, maybe I would not be as
Never
happy
get into yoga as much as you did.
Absolutely. I don't think I would get into yoga at all.
Now you made it your complete life, right? Like this is what
Exactly.
you do, and you teach,
Exactly.
and you
Absolutely.
share what you learn. And I tell you, I've been doing yoga on and off. You know, I love yoga. I love the calling that it has. Every time I do yoga, there's something that happens within me. I cannot explain it, and I keep trying to tell people, you got to experience that. But then when I came to you, and with the whole hammock and just hanging and the kind of freedom I had doing yoga, even the little fears that I had, Amo, can I do this? Can I do that? I cannot invert. And you were like, let's go. 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, what's going on? But you really gave through your yoga and what you taught us. Hi, Rakul. Rakul's
Hi,
here. So, you know, whatever those little fears that I had about yoga, you really opened it up. So even when we come back to the mat, that fears are not there. So that's something I really got and get from you. So I was telling my fans today, saying that, you know, I go to Bombay and I plan my meetings around Anshika's yoga every time, you know. So I love it, and I'm so glad we are here today to talk about it. And I know everybody's like, show me asanas, and I'm like, it's not about asanas, you know. So how do we do this? I want to show to them. We are only seeing half. I'm not sure how we can do the.
We should maybe do a demonstration today. You can do it. I can just you can follow my voice, and then maybe we should do this again where we shoot a lovely Surya Namaskar sequence. So we should do something fun.
Yeah,
which people can, you know, do it along. But maybe you have to adjust your camera, and let's go into the physical Surya Namaskar right
So
away.
you're gonna talk to them about every pose and what it does.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna try this, guys. Let's go. Can you see me?
Yes. Okay. So yeah. I think that's good. Maybe you should be horizontal, like the other.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But then you won't see all of me, but it's okay. The first few, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Okay. So let's begin and go to the head of your mat and roll your shoulders back. Bring a namaskar to your heart by your chest. Just stay there for a few seconds. It's important always when we start a Surya Namaskar to understand that we are always offering this to the sun, right? The Surya Namaskar translates itself to a sun salutation. However, it's just about really offering it to something bigger than you, the greater good. So just surrender and let's begin. Inhale to take your hands up, all the way up. So your palms are together, you're really lengthening your diaphragm. You're reaching up, Hasta Uttanasana. And as you exhale, I want you to open up your palms, push your chest forward, grab your ankles, pull yourself in. I know that luckily you're extremely flexible, so you can place your palms on the floor. For those who can't really touch your toes or you're left stuck at your knees, it's fine. Just stay where you are. Keep staying there. Your Uttanasana. Now we'll step our right leg back into a lunge. As you inhale into an Anjani Asana. So here you don't want your knee to cross your ankle because that can cause injuries. So guys, remember these little tips and tricks. Keep looking forward. Your drishti should be forward. And as you exhale, let's step the leg back into the plank pose. toes, your dandasana. You want your body to be in one straight line. And now very slowly we're going to drop our knees, our chest and chin. Ashtanga Namaskar. So you're literally touching 8 points onto the floor. There's no breath here. I want you to push into your palms and come all the way up into Bhujangasana. Open up your chest. You're opening up your heart. Push your pelvis down. Keep breathing. And now we're going to raise our hips all the way up and go into your Parvatasana, your Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward dog, most popularly known as. And here I really want you to push your chest towards your thighs. Your drishti, your focus should be your belly button. Push those shoulder blades away from each other. Beautiful. Now you want to step the same leg back. If the same leg that you took to the back, you want to step it forward in an Anjaneyasana, which is your lunge. Again, be very careful that your knee doesn't cross your ankle. Look forward. Beautiful. And now let's step that right leg forward for you into a Uttanasana. Keep staying here. It's so important to really warm up the hamstrings here. And you always want to fold forward. So you don't want to curl your back. And for those who are not flexible, that's fine. Wherever you are, it's not a competition. And again, take your hands all the way up in a Namaskar. And then let's bring it back to your chest. So that, in some schools of yoga, that's counted as one Surya Namaskar, right? But in some schools of yoga, when you do it with your right leg and your left leg, that's counted as one school of yoga. And what I really want to say that it doesn't matter what school of yoga is considering, half Namaskar or one Namaskar, as long as you're listening to your body. And, if you feel like doing 10 or 20 or even 100, that's fine. The number is not important. What's important is to feel every posture and what you're doing, So when you're on the mat, you really want to tune in. So I think that's very, very important. And yeah, that was beautiful. Lucky, you're so beautiful with your lines. It's really nice. And I really believe you are as flexible in your body as you are in your mind. So I feel like that's such a constant, learning every single day. So it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot because I really do believe that when things are coming to resist you when you're doing yoga, I think magic just automatically happens,
Absolutely.
And that's why I've been encouraging people, do it. I'm like, I don't know, you do it so you understand. Shabana, hi.
No, this I don't understand. This.
I know. Because, there are some fans that get very upset if I don't call out their names. So I have to, until then they're like, but Anshik, tell us a little bit about the importance that Surya Namaskar carries and the significance of it, and why people say if you learn that one thing, you don't need to learn anything else. Like if you have that Surya Namaskar practice, that is enough. Is that true?
Yes, and on so many different levels. And now let me start with the physical benefits first. A Surya Namaskar is a wholesome practice. So it's stretching every single muscle group. It's strengthening every single muscle group. And you're really finding a lot of range. If you do your Surya Namaskars, you start with 27 or 36. You always do it in increments of 9. And you build up, it's going to build your endurance. So you can use Surya Namaskar to improve cardiovascular health because there is one kind of breath that you do with every movement. So you're improving your breath, your cardiovascular, and all your systems really physically. And sometimes, we're always complaining about being short on time. We can't go to the gym or we can't make it to that exercise. So even if you have 10 to 15 minutes, you can just do a 15-minute Surya Namaskar practice at home. And you will see that you're burning calories, number one, which is so important to everybody right now because we are so conscious about our external beauty and looking a certain way. So that's really helping you look fitter. And the side effect is that you're going to lose weight. Everyone's about weight loss and Surya Namaskar. So you are going to lose weight with that. So that I feel is extremely important with our concrete life and like really being busy. 15 minutes of that gives you all those physical benefits. And like I say, your hormones will be balanced, which is so important, even to make you feel
women,
good.
Tell it, talk about they say, oh, women shouldn't do this. You shouldn't stretch. You shouldn't, it's not good for your hormones. So speak a little bit about that as well.
Not at all. I feel like it's completely the opposite. In fact, it's improving your endocrine system so much. And being women, we know that our hormonal cycle is like a circus. We are going through like the element of breaking down and really like reviving ourselves every single month, which is so beautiful. But we are only coming out of it stronger. And when you do this, you're actually not going through those PMS mood swings. You're feeling
So can
better.
you do this when can you do this if you have your when
Yes,
you're on
yes.
your period?
When you're, yes, you can do the Surya Namaskar when you're on your period cycle. However, you shouldn't do certain asanas, which are inversion asanas, because
But nothing to do with Surya Namaskar. With
nothing
what
to
you
do with
just
Surya
showed.
Namaskar. You can do as many Surya Namaskars as you want, but of course, if you're in pain and you cannot move, then don't do it. But listen to your body. But yes, you can do Surya Namaskar any time of the day. Just make sure that if you've eaten a meal, you want to keep that 2 hours to 3 hours gap right after a meal, but you can do it any other time. So there's really no excuse about moving around, and you're going to balance your hormones better. So for those, 50% of women today have thyroid, PCOD, PCOS, and all those crazy things. So it's really going to improve your hormonal system and bring that balance back to your system, which is going to help you through disease and ailments.
Oh wow, I just realized how to remove the comments that we're going. I've been doing so many lives every day. I'm like, as we speak, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, But
I want to also talk about bigger than the physical practice. When you get onto a mat versus when you're at the gym, I really feel like when you're doing a bicep curl, you're not really feeling your bicep or understanding. You're just doing it so mechanically. But when you're doing a Surya Namaskar, you're so present. And we all want to be present, but we don't know how to. When your teacher tells you stay present or be present, tune in.
Be in the
my
now.
students,
Now is all that matters. So how
exactly.
do you do now? How do you? I think because how do you get in the now?
Exactly.
Present,
And when you're on the mat and your teacher tells you to touch your toes, that's all you're thinking about, right? You're thinking about your toes, you're thinking about what your body is doing, you're thinking about the breath that you're using. It's like the Arjuna story with the, the bird's eye and the tir, So the focus it's automatically happening. You don't have to be a yogi or you don't have to tune in. It just teaches you to tune in. And there's so much that you take from the practice. Go on.
With the breath also, because
With
when
the
you
breath,
do it with
absolutely.
the breath.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about breathing and how important, because we so take that for granted, breathing is something that it automatically happens. What do you mean talk about breathing? Why is it important? But I think we forget to breathe life, like prana, into us. Because we're so we let our emotions rule our breathing rather than our body take us to the breath. So can you go into a little bit about how important breathing is and conscious breathing at that?
For me, like I've been saying this so often now, especially through the lives. Your breath is the only constant that you have since the time you've been born and when you leave your physical body. That's the only constant thing. Nothing else in the world, materially or otherwise, is going to be constant. So I think when you understand that, you start being a little more sensitive towards understanding what conscious breathing means. And what breathing does to you, I'm going to use a very slang way of saying it. When people are angry or anxious, you have a lot of your friends telling you to just chill or to just breathe. And it's so much bigger than that, right? When you're breathing correctly, we use less than 30% of our lung capacity. We use less than 1/16 of what our lungs can do. And breathing correctly just allows...
Say that and say it slowly, because half the things are wrong with it. I'm sitting on the floor, just a sec, I'm trying to get a cushion. You said what percentage?
Less than 30%. Less than 30%.
We breathe less than 30% into our lungs. Okay.
And especially right now with what we are going through, the pandemic is respiratory.
Yes.
So it's so important to breathe right, to breathe correctly. And when you breathe shallow, it's like, let me give you an example. If you're going to take a glass which has about, a glass which has 10 units, and you're going to inhale just about maybe 4 units. and you're going to exhale even lesser than that, say 1 unit or 2 units. You only have 2 units to breathe in, right? That's all. And your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system is all about breathing, your inhalation, your exhalation, your reflexes to life, right? To every single thing that you do. Let me give you an example. So when you're put into a situation and it's slightly hard and your decision making has to strike in immediately and you have to make that decision, that's when both your nervous systems are working. And that's when you either choose to rest to relax, or you choose to fight. It's called the fight or flight reflex, right? That's when breathing kicks in. And our life, really, if you see your journey, it's a collective way of making decisions as you go through your day right now. And your breath helps you to make those right decisions. And breathing into your body, breathing the right way. The breathing, like you said, breathing all that prana is so important because number one, it's helping all your systems work right. Guys, I cannot reiterate this. I mean, I'll go crazy. I teach people to breathe correctly for a living because when everyone's breathing shallow, they're making the wrong decisions. They are actually attracting disease. And I don't mean disease only physically. You know, you're attracting all those negative emotions. You're attracting all that negativity towards you. You cannot breathe. When you're not breathing correctly, you can't make the right decisions. You are going to make the wrong decision. Or you don't have the capacity in your body to sustain your unhealthy lifestyle. Automatically, when you're breathing right, you're going to feel so much larger than what you are. And it's so important to empower ourselves. That when we talk about Surya Namaskar and we start, the salutation to the sun is about empowering, right? Because your sun is sending you all that energy, all that heat, all that fire and building you up. But if you don't do that consistently through your day, that's going to deplete and die out. So breathing really changes every little aspect of your life. It's not just about being physical or just about tuning in and meditating and being aware. Because that takes a lot of time. Consistent practice, building a practice, cultivating a meditation practice takes time. But just breathing right. Like I've been doing this little breathing exercise that I like to do with you right now. So let's
I'd love to. I was going to ask you to do. Let's do.
It's so simple.
About how to breathe and let's breathe. You know.
So let's take one palm and place it on your belly button, and place the other palm on your chest, and just close your eyes. And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, your throat, expanding your chest, expanding your stomach. And as you exhale, release from your stomach, from your chest, from your throat, and from your nostrils. Now I'm going to add some counts. So inhale all the way, 1, 2, 3. And as you exhale, 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 1, 2, 3. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. And hold your breath now for 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 1, 2, 3. One more time. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Hold that for 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 1, 2, and 3. Just stay with your breathing. Keep your eyes closed. So that was belly breathing, guys, that you all can follow at any point of the day if you have 2 to 3 minutes. And if you feel like you can breathe for longer counts, just add those counts to 4 or 5. And now we're going to go into the box breath, which I want to do with you. Keep your eyes closed again. Just a few breaths of the box breath. And I just want you to visualize a square or a box. And we're going to start from the bottom left side, okay? So let's inhale as we go up that square. And now hold your breath and go to the opposite top. And now as you exhale, I want you to go down through the opposite side of the square. And now suspend your breath and come back to the starting position. We'll do that one more time. Inhale all the way up. And hold your breath till you go to the opposite side. And exhale as you come down the box and suspend your breath. And slowly open your eyes. I know this was not like a square, guys. It was a rectangle, but you can get anything that's square, and it really helps to even just, if you can't visualize a square, just literally draw out a square and put it on a piece of paper, or use your laptop or whatever you have, and you can just actually follow that square. And it's so beautiful because when you train yourself to start breathing right, and it automatically takes you to a state of consciousness. So you don't have to force it. It just comes to you. Today you'll feel like you're just focusing on like a shape, and you won't realize when you're elevated from just that shape, you know. I talk about this thing about taking things off the mat, right? So when I'm always asked about my yoga practice, like when we do balancing poses and we'll do the Vrikshasana or the tree pose, you know, when we fall, we immediately do it again. But like you need to take from that and understand that that's actually going to happen to you for the rest of the 23 hours when you're not on the mat. So when something's not going right and you fall, it's important to pick yourself up. And that's what you learn on the mat. So you need to understand why you're doing every single asana, even your Surya Namaskar. The more flexible you are, like I say, the more flexible you are in your head, right? So it helps you to take away from the mat. So the mat is like giving me life lessons. Every single time I'm on the mat, it's not about what I do on the mat, it's about what I'm doing with what I learn on the mat for the rest of the time.
Absolutely. You know? I mean, that was just like an aha moment for me, because sometimes flexibility is there all the time, right? But with that, what I struggle with is strength and balance.
Right.
So when you say hold that position, I'm like, oh my God, no, can I go to the next right away? Because I can do it for that 1 second, but to hold it and have that strength, that's hard. And then sometimes balance. Sometimes, you know, the combination is always one is better than the other. And then when I think about it, the day happens like that. I don't find that balance, or, you know, it's the strength that I have to make a decision and be strong in my conviction. Because I'm a little too flexible. So people can bend me a little too much. I need to know my balance and strength. And that's something I'm learning through my body.
And can I please add that you are a goddess, and you empower me so much. And I always remind you, I know, but sometimes I feel like you don't believe it, but I feel like just your presence as part of my life, and I have to say this, is so empowering. And it's not only for me, you know, I'm sure it's also for Rakul and all our other friends, because they are, I think you really empower us, and in ways you don't even know. So thank you.
Oh baby, thank you. That was so special. Thank you. I think I got really lucky with having in putting my tribe together, you know, and I really tell you, I always cribbed about not having friends in India. You know, I don't have friends. Until Rakul came into my life, and even then, what are you doing? I'm busy. Okay, I'll come in 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Like, she didn't care. She knew something that there were two people at first, Prakash and me. So we were the three mosquitoes, as we call ourselves. But she really brought that sense of togetherness for me in India, you know.
And Rakul made us meet, so like,
yeah. Like we have our own little tribe.
Yeah, I love that. I love that I'm part of a tribe. Thank you. It makes me feel so good.
We are. You know, I'll tell you now. Actually, I'll show it to you now. So when this is turned off, like when you turn it off, not this one, but the switched off one. I don't know how to do that. It has after from you, Kushal, Rakul, and me.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it is from
You guys get to meet more on this live channel.
Like I was not sure, but yeah, next time. But so talking about Surya Namaskar, they say you should only do it in the morning. Is that true?
Yes and no. So we have an alternate version of the Surya Namaskar, which is called the Chandra Namaskar, where it's just altering one or two, I think one pose really, it's not too many. The idea is Surya Namaskar is each asana that we do is full of like building fire, you know, and just being a little more, for example, like you're ready to recharge and start your day. So every posture has
to
fire
receive
in
the
you.
energy. Do you think when you do Surya Namaskar, right? Do you receive the sun's energy into you?
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that you cannot do it when the sun's not out, right? But the Chandra Namaskar is more relaxing, more cooling on the body, so it's easier because we believe you should go, we you don't eat after sunset, right? So you don't eat according to if you follow the sattvic way of living and the yoga way of living, you don't really eat as much towards sundown. So you don't want to, really put your body through so much physical exertion. That's why we have a Chandra
Say that again.
Namaskar.
I want to go back. See, Ansh, I know when we talk really fast because we get each other.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Okay, I'm gonna
go
go
back.
slow. I'm gonna start singing.
Of
So the
saying
sun,
what?
okay, the sun and the moon. Okay,
So
I'm going
I
to
got all you said. I go back to reiterate what you're saying. So you're saying it is not very advisable to eat as the sun goes down, right?
Right.
Because
Yes.
now our bellies are so big because we eat and go right to bed because our system is completely changed. We don't eat 2 hours before we go to sleep. It's like we eat and go to bed. That's become our lifestyle. So also in our Sanskrit yogic life, they talk about eating according to the sun and the moon. So can you
Correct.
explain that a little bit?
So, I mean, this is just one way of looking at it. It's not important to follow this, but from sunrise to sunset is when you should finish your meals, finish work days, finish, literally, I mean, your day should end with your sunset. Hence, we don't do Surya Namaskar in the evening because Surya Namaskar sort of gives you all that energy which you need when you need to start your day. So it's sort of like all that you deplete through the rest of the day when you're working and you're exhausted of all that energy. Your Surya, your sun energy is replenishing that in the morning. Hence, we believe that you should do it in the morning. Having said that, if you want some movement at the end of the day, there is the Chandra Namaskar. It is a little variation which is more cooling to the body. So we are using different poses which is a little more relaxing because Surya Namaskar can be physically challenging. Hence, you don't want to do a Surya Namaskar in the evening. But because of our lifestyle today, none of us are really, unless some people on their intermittent fasting these days, a very tiny ratio of people, a percentage of people follow the sun cycle when it comes to their eating.
Yeah, and the
habits.
Westerners had to call it intermittent fasting.
I know, it's crazy.
Now we say, okay, we shall follow. Yeah.
It is, yeah. But, so, yeah, having said that, so that's how it works. But you can do Surya Namaskar any time of the day, as long as you understand how to do it. So if you're going to do 20 rounds in the morning or 50 rounds in the morning, and if you're doing it in the evening just before going to bed, maybe don't do so many rounds, You can find your variation. What's important to understand that, I want to come to this because I know different schools have different kind of Surya Namaskars, right? And there are a lot of people who are extremely rigid in their way of thinking, where if they follow a certain school, they don't want to follow another school. But I come from a place where I feel like, you can do anything that you want as long, you have that freedom and that variety. What it's teaching
As long as you
is-
know the sequence.
Absolutely. And what it's teaching you that all of it is giving you the same amount of benefits. What it's also teaching you that there's no right blueprint, right, of life. You're not getting a manual how to go through your day or what to feel. So the different
If
schools
anything
of-
taught you, it's this pandemic. Like
Absolutely.
you cannot plan, you cannot think life has all this stored for me.
Absolutely.
I do
Absolutely.
this thing and that will happen. No.
right.
You follow your heart, be as
Yes.
honest as you can, be as
Absolutely.
humble. And today I was learning about compassion and how much it is that when you treat somebody with kindness and respect, which is what compassion is, that everything, your hope has no value when there is no compassion. And it is, they were talking about, it is very difficult to find that compassion right now, especially, being stuck in small rooms and seeing your family so much that most of us have an escape strategy of I'm going to work, or I'm busy, or I'm going to see a friend, or we have many exit strategies from places that we feel uncomfortable with.
Absolutely.
But now we are faced with all that, as earlier I was telling you, they made my mat wet. Like everything that you don't want it to happen, happens. And I think in situations we have no control over, as you talked about, breathing and just that simple technique that you taught us, or doing this Surya Namaskar, really does magic. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about this one last thing about an asana. It's called the humble warrior. It's translated to a humble warrior in English, and it's similar to a lunge where you're just bowing down. So when I practice this alone, I do it as well, and that's when that realization comes to me. It's not about that I'm bowing to somebody or even a teacher or a guru. I'm just like surrendering and understanding that you're giving back to the greater good. You're so it's literally you have to devote your practice to the larger good, to something that you can't comprehend, and maybe one day I will be able to, I hope. But if not, it's just important to understand that you need to let go. And when people talk about Surya Namaskar being an offering to the sun, right, like a devotional offering to the sun, but when I do it alone and I do this particular posture, I realize that, oh my God, this just makes me understand that not how small I am, but oh my God, I am so empowered and I feel so good that I can consciously bow and understand that the universe is larger and the greater good is so much bigger than what I am, and I know that in my own little way, I will change the world, because I can't go out there and help, make people change the world, change the planet, change their decisions, but I can do that just by my practice on the mat. And this is something very, very, I mean, this is the first time I think I've ever shared it with anybody, but this is what I feel like. That asana just makes me crumble, I'm like, I just feel like real. I feel like I can, like, when we talk about the universal truth, I feel like that moment, sometimes I'm almost scared to enter that pose, because I feel like there's so much realization that happens within me. I just avoid it.
But isn't that beautiful? I think that is the magic about yoga, self-realization. It's not somebody telling you what you should follow, or what you should read, or what you that is why I tell people yoga is so beautiful, because it is the journey within your body, and the postures just help you understand, the inversions or back bends or forward bends. There is a method to the madness of the sequence when it's coming, and when it happens, it is those deep, pure, real, honest discussions that happen within yourself. And it's not like your mother asking, have you self-realized today? What have you gone through in your heart? Nobody asks those questions anymore. You should be asking those questions, saying, have you done something to hurt somebody today? Can you go to sleep tonight, with your conscience? How many times do you use that word conscience in your daily life? Which it should be, because that's all you have and that's all you go to sleep with, right?
Absolutely.
And it's a discussion that we had so much in our lives the past 1 year, in terms of how people behave to how people are, and it's been a life-changing experience for me to really realize who I am. It was actually, now looking back, last year was discovering who I really am, not what I want to live, or who will make me feel better, or a job, or a person, or a thing, or a place, but who is it that I am? And that answer only came through millions of discussions, but getting on the mat. I don't think I've done so much yoga in the past year, so much meditation in the past year. And really, and that is the big aha moment, because until then I was like, oh, that didn't make me happy, this didn't make me happy. But to really hear, and this one makes me very happy.
Hi, Devi.
Oh, sorry. Can you say hi to Anushka? She's your little yogini. But that's what that is, and that's what yoga is, that it makes you ask the most simplest, most real, how honest. Is anybody getting hurt? Are you getting hurt? How is the decision that you're making impacting other people in the good way or the bad way? Are you strong enough to say no to people? All that comes through yoga, and that's what I keep telling people. Do yoga, it's magic. That's all I say, And really, Anshika, people like you, I know a lot of teachers, some amazing teachers, some who are very shy and don't want to come and share their experiences. And more power to them. They believe that, no, I need to be seen in person. But this also, I believe, is so important because I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have no clue. I don't know. I've only read the Yoga Sutras a few times and I didn't get qualified. But here I am willing to feel in times like this where we are feeling a lot of fear and we don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if I'll ever be able to come to Bombay in the next year, like people are caring about taking a flight. Like, when do we feel safe? But I think it's important to have these discussions and conversations as much as we can because if we know a little bit more, our voice needs to be resonating with the thousands of people that are watching this. So I want to thank you for constantly putting yourself out there and being so available. And, you were like, what do we do? But we realized, guys, I don't think decoding Surya Namaskar will teach you 5 pranayams would have been easier with our face right here. But you know what we do promise that we will do a sequence with Surya Namaskar and your voice, Anshika. We'll do it in the next couple of days. And we'll put this video together and put it out so that way you see different angles, I feel, with the light.
Absolutely.
You don't see the feet and it's cut off.
Right.
But
and also, guys, I just want to say that I know there's so much out there right now, content-wise, and it's also available for free. And although I love having content out there for free, I have my own YouTube channel and different things, but it's also important to sign up for a class if you can and have a teacher at least once or twice a week, because even if you feel you're doing it correctly, just plain physically, you can enjoy yourself. And that's when when people tell me that I've been injured through yoga, Surya Namaskar, my back is hurting after Surya Namaskar. Some part of me just believes that Surya Namaskar can't injure you if you're doing it correctly. So, that video that Lakhu is going to put out, please, like that. I mean, I'll talk about all the do's and don'ts that you can, so it will be easy to do it along with that.
Yeah,
so
I think we'll do it like that, do's and don'ts and showing every bit. And then we'll do a sequence of 3 then I'll just multiply it to 21. Only people want to do it. No, I think that would be a great video, a little bit of, we'll put something together. And you know what? Let me tell you exactly what you just said. It is so important. I'm a trained yoga teacher, guys. I've done my 200-hour certification and I've done many hours more. Coming, Amma. So it's my daddy's time. After 7, it's his time. So I've been doing on and off. But I tell you, I am still not in the practice of having my own practice. But I exactly what you said, have a teacher. I've been doing yoga with Anshika every day through Zoom. I'm in Hyderabad, Tanu Bombay lo undi, but we're still doing yoga and those little postures, even the breathing and to complete the whole sequence. And I tell you, as you said, there are so many amazing teachers and this is the land of yoga. We're so blessed to be born here. So take advantage of this. Use this time, especially now that you think that you don't know where to go. It'll help you with your stress, your anxiety, and really bring you to the present and make you secure and feel the hope that you need for the unforeseen future, but hope is important. And so yoga, pranayam. So what do you want to end this session with for us, Ansh?
I want to, before I end it, I want to say that please go onto my page because there's a link in my bio which shows you classes that we offer online right now. So please try and figure out what works for you the best. We do classes with me, with my trainers. We do classes every Sunday. We do one class, it's a community class which we started doing for free. And now we charge just 199 rupees every Sunday, once a week. But we have classes through the day, so I think that's important. But I just want to leave with to understand that, guys, I really feel like we always have the answers. All of us have the answers and it's right there. But to get the answers, and when I'm talking about answers, I mean, Lakhu understands me, but when I'm talking about if you're confused about making a decision, or you're talking about if you're put in a place where you don't know what to do and your gut is telling you something, we talk about this gut feeling, that is your body telling you something. So listen, tune in, so when I'm when I try to say tune in, just doing that breath work, I promise you, the breath work that Laku showed you today, just the box breath, the belly breathing, if you do that every single day for 10 minutes even, you're going to see how your life changes. So just get a
And
mat.
if you guys, I don't have my Apple Watch, but if you guys have your Apple Watch, every hour it teaches you it reminds you to breathe for a minute.
Absolutely.
So you just have to turn that on. So
Yeah, it's the Breathe app. It's a inbuilt app that Apple has. It's just called Breathe, and you just need to punch in how many times you want to be reminded of breathing right the whole day. So it's really interesting because it suddenly starts vibrating on your wrist, and then you're looking at it, and then it tells you when to inhale and when to exhale. And it's really it's very useful because it's giving you those few times when we forget. Even I forget. Even sometimes when I'm teaching. And you know, I'm getting so aggressive into the practice on aligning people. I forget that, but my breath is not in tune all the time. Of course, I'm not breathing correctly all the time as well. So it sort of reminds me every single time. So just breathe, guys. Just breathe right. I want to leave with just breathe and breathe right. That's just the constant you have. And yoga is for the change, and luckily this change is always for the better. So yeah.
And as we are, the answers are right there. Just be in tune. Following that, and as Anshika said, you know, then the next question will be like, where can we learn this? So Anshika's teaching. Good luck getting her time, because I'm not able to get her time. But there are other amazing teachers that she's trained, and I love Piyush, and I love working with him, and I love your other trainers. So sign up. So this is a great way for you to get introduced to yoga, and even if you can do the community class, which is 200 rupees, you can do it that much once a week, and you know, start getting curious and inquisitive. So, and in the next 1 week, we'll put out a yoga video that will properly show how to do Surya Namaskar. Yeah.
Thank you, Laku. Thank you. And I love you so much. Thank you for
I love you so much.
And I hope I can see you very soon. So I really hope
Me too.
we get better and everything feels very soon.
Tadastu.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.